With me this morning. Really appreciate your time. What do you say to Speaker Johnson, who says there's no reason for the House to come back to session?
Well, there are a lot of reasons for the House to be in session. We were supposed to be in session the last 2 weeks. We're supposed to be in session next week, irrespective of a government shutdown, because, we have oversight hearings to do. We have legislation to mark up. We have the ordinary business of the people to carry out, and there's no justification to shut everything down just because we're in the midst of the government shutdown. In fact, the fact that there's a government shutdown is all the more reason that we should be there in order to be doing everything we possibly can to get us out of this situation, not to mention the fact that the entire reason the House had to pass a 7-week continuing resolution in the first place is that we were going to miss the deadline for passing a full budget. So even if that 7-week continuing resolution became law, we've already burned a few of those weeks just being at it.
The cracks are showing, and they're getting wider by the hour. Republicans are officially cracking under pressure as their political bluff has been called. And this time, there's nowhere left to hide. For weeks, the GOP tried to strong-arm Democrats into submission over the government shutdown, but it completely backfired.
The Speaker says that there should be no negotiations with Democrats, but, we're about to begin week 3 of this very damaging shutdown. It's only going to get more painful for so many Americans. So is it time for GOP leaders to begin negotiating with Democrats to find a way out of this crisis?
Yeah, I think we need to explore all avenues, and I want to be very clear. I voted for the continuing resolution. I don't like continuing resolutions, but it was the lesser of two evils between that and shutting down the government, which is a terrible thing. I wish the Senate would just vote for the version we passed in the House. I don't agree with what Chuck Schumer is doing. I think he's being unreasonable, but this is politics. Sometimes you have to work with people that you believe are being unreasonable in order to find the common ground that is best for the country. And so long as the House isn't even there, that's going to be very hard for us to do.
Yeah, so you think it's time to negotiate, for the Speaker to negotiate with Democrats?
I think if there's an avenue that we can explore that will get us out of this, then absolutely. I mean, they've brought up this issue of the subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. There are a number of people in our conference, myself included, who are very concerned about the prospect that people are going to see a sudden increase in premiums. And so if, reaching some sort of deal there, or at least a first step towards a deal, which is going to need to be reached anyway, provides a pathway out of the shutdown as well, I don't see why we shouldn't at least look into that.
Americans aren't buying the chaos anymore. They see exactly who's responsible for this mess. Donald Trump and his Republican enablers in Congress. The polls are clear. Voters overwhelmingly blame the GOP for holding the nation hostage while families suffer and paychecks are frozen. But here's the twist: Democrats are standing strong. Governor Gavin Newsom's leadership in California is showing what happens when Democrats govern with purpose instead of perform for cameras. California is thriving while Republican-led states drown in dysfunction. And it's no surprise that this model of confident, results-driven leadership is inspiring Democrats across the country to push back harder than ever. And that's exactly what we saw today when Congressman Maxwell Frost joined Midas Duck to break down Proposition 50, a California measure that puts ethics and accountability at the center of governance. Frost lays it out perfectly. The GOP's culture of corruption and chaos can't survive in the light of real. Democrats fight back and refuse to cave. The entire MAGA strategy falls apart. You can see it in their faces: the fear, the frustration, the unraveling. The Republican Party is collapsing under the weight of its own lies, while Democrats are finally reclaiming the narrative and proving that strength comes from standing up for the people, not bending to bullies. This is the moment of truth. And it's clear. The bluff has been called. The mask is off, and the GOP's game is over.